Hello, welcome back to another video. So today we will actually do, if I go to the code editor, here you can see in our last video actually we have done db.php and index, right? So db for the connection. So now actually we will, in this video actually I'm going to show you the login .php, logout.php and register. I mean, you can register, you can log in and log out. So let's do this. Let me just go to the database. Here you can see our database is library db. If I go to the users table, you can see we have no user right now. Let's say I want to add an user like admin. So I will go to the insert here. So here you can see I have ID. So ID is auto incremented. So I don't need to add here any ID. And I want to add admin as Yamin. And I want to set the email as yamin@gmail.com. So I can do this in the registration also. So actually I want to add only one admin right now, and I want to do registration for the all other members. So I will actually show you how you can actually register for the members. But for now actually let me just add an admin first. So yamin@gmail.com, and then password is 123, and I want to set that admin, and I want to say here go. So now actually you can see this is our query. So we actually insert in the users table where ID, name, email, password, role, and then values is like this. So if I go here in the users table, now you can see that we have an admin right now, and the role is admin. So now actually we will do registration for the members. Let's go to the code editor. Let me just go to the registration. So register.php, and here actually I want to write first HTML. And I need a form. So I will write here form form. In the form, actually, I need to add action, and I will actually redirect to the same page. So I will say here register.php, and here my method is post. Here I need input fields. Let me just go to the database and let me check here that my database, if I go to the users table, you can see I need name, email, password, and role. Okay. Input type text, and I want here name, right? So it's a name, and pop it. So this will be email. Then we need another input for the password. So type should be password, and we need role, right? So I want to actually, I don't want to give them option that you want to log in as admin or the users. So basically I want to do is that I don't want to keep registration process for the admin will actually added from the database, but I just want to add this register process for the all other users except admin. Okay. So I don't need to give here section, okay, to actually check that if it is admin, or I will actually fix here a value, I mean input type, and there should be text, and I will say set the value for it, right? And I will say that value admin, right? Sorry, users. If I go to the browser, if I go to the structure, you can see we have only let me check. So we have user. So I will say here user. Okay. And I want to set the input is hidden. Okay. I want to set the input is hidden. So I will say here hidden. Okay. And I want to add one more button like submit button. So in this video, actually, I will show you the different way. In our previous project, actually, I have used input button, right? I mean, I have given here type is submit. In this video, actually, we will use directly button, and we will use server dollar underscore server global variable. Okay. So this is the button and sign up. And actually, I want to set here button type submit. Now my button will act as submit button, and I have right here sign up. So this is the file, and now if anybody actually click here submit, then it will go to the register.php. So we have to accept the file, right? So let's say one form validation. So how can you actually do form validation? We just have to go to the top. We just have to say here PHP script. Here I will say that if I'll say here dollar underscore server variable. So we'll say here request method is equal to post. If the method is post, then actually it will, enter here. I want to set all the I want to store all the variables. So I will say name. So name is for the this text. Okay, name, and this email is will be email. The password will be password. That's it. And the input. Okay, so this will be role. That's it. So if I go to the browser, you can see that we have name, email, password, and row. So we have name, email, password, and role here. So let's just store all of them. So name should be like dollar underscore post because our method is post. So I have to use super global variable post. And here I want to say name because my field name is name. And this is actually local variable. You can give it any name. So no problem. And let me just copy it for email, password, and row. I'll say here email. I'll say here password. I will say here role. Okay. So we have set all of them. Now actually I want to, insert the query. So I will say $SQL for the query. And I want to say here SQL is for the insertion, we know insert into the table name. So our table name is users. Let me check users. Okay. Our table name is users and all the column names. So we know name, email, password, and role. So let me just check once again that I write it in a right way or not. So name, email, password, and role. So everything is right here. So now actually we want to add values, and then we just have to give single quotation, and we just need to separate them to comma, and we just need to pass all the variables. So name, then we need email for the email field, we need password, and the last one is row, dollar. Okay, dollar row. Now we need to execute the query. So we will execute the query. So if you want to execute the query, the function is mysql I underscore query. And here you just have to pass two parameters. So we need to connect to the database, right? So let me just store the result in a variable. So I will say here dollar result equal to this query. Okay, this function. And here actually we have to pass two parameter, one for the connection, one for the SQL. So we have actually created the connection in the db.php and our variable is con here. So we just need to include it actually. So here I want to include. So I will say here include db.php. Now actually we can access the variable from this db.php. So this con variable. So actually I want to copy it and I want to pass this con variable here as parameter and my SQL. So now actually the result will be executed and it will be stored in the result variable. And I will check that if something wrong happened. So if not execute the result, I will say echo the error. So I will say that error and I want to paste the error. So I will say dollar result error. Else it will say that echo insert, register. You have registered successfully, right? You have, sorry, you have registered successfully. Let's check if it is working or not. So we'll go to the browser here and actually I want to go to the register.php. So here you can see successfully connected. Why? We didn't give here any value, right? it shouldn't actually show like this. So I'll say okay. So the problem is actually successfully connected because uh, if we go to the db.php, here you can see we have here else, right? So successfully connected. So we just need to remove it, right? Okay, now actually it will show this. Okay, so our database is actually successfully connected, and here you can see we have three field and a button, sign up button. So I want to do style for it. Okay, so let me just check if I can add all the, what can I say, I can add new user or not. So here you can see if I go to the users table, browse. So here you can see we have only one user, that is admin. And now let's say I want to add user. So I will say Nilon, Nilon at gmail.com. So password is, let's say, 123. And I want to click on sign up. Not now. So here you can see you have registered successfully. So now let's check if it is registered or not. So refresh. So here you can see we have user, right? Now our role is user. I mean, we have add user, and the name is Milan, and the email and the password. Okay, so everything is working perfectly. Now let's do CSS, I mean do style for it. So let's go here, and I want to go to the style.css. Let me just remove it. So here you can see we have style.css and register.php. If you want to actually access any CSS file, you just have to link it to the original file, I mean your PHP file. So link, and then here you can see in the reference we just have to say that style.css. Now we can actually access the style.css in this page. So let me just give here title. So we'll say library. So actually the problem is, let's say I want to show all the time in the title. Okay, if I go here, you can see let me just go back. Here you can see we have library here, right? Now let's say I want to show it in every single page. So every single time actually I have to give here title. Okay, so I can actually create a different file, okay, for the title, I mean for the header. So I want to actually copy the header, I mean only header in different file. So I will create a new file in the library. I want to save it as heading.html. Let's say. So every single time actually I want to okay, I actually don't want to set here HTML file. Actually I want to set it as PHP. Okay, no problem. So every single time actually I will include the heading.php file in different page. So let me just paste it here, and let me just remove the HTML here. Okay, actually I don't need to remove it here. So this is the title, and this is the style sheet link, and now every single page we just have to include it. So you will write here, you just need to say here include. So actually we have to say here PHP script. So I will say PHP, I want to say here PHP, and I want to say include. I want to say here I want to include the common file for the heading. So heading.php, heading, heading.php. Now let's check if it is working like before. Here you can see it's working properly. And let me just remove it. And now if I refresh, here you can see we have changed our title. I mean our title is changed. And now if I include it, now our title will be what? Here you can see library. So every single time actually we just need to include it. We don't need to write the whole heading part. Okay, we don't need to access the, I mean we don't need to include the CSS also every single time. We just need to include this one line of code. So that's it. Now let's say it's working properly. Now I want to do CSS for this form. Then I want to set a class for the body. Actually I can no problems. I'll say here a class for the body. I'll say register. We need actually register. Okay, so this is the register class. So let me just copy it, and I want to go here, and I want to say dot and the class name. So in CSS we have actually want to if you want to actually access the class, then you have to give dot. So here I want to comment out it. I want to say that CSS for register page, register this. So we have set a class for the body register, And now I actually want to say that margin 0. So now go and refresh. Now here you can see there is no margin, but I want to show all the item. Let's say I want to show the register form input, display, flex direction, column. Refresh. Nothing happened. Actually, I want to set here display flex, and I want to set the flex direction. I mean, I want to actually cut it from here, and I want to paste it here. Now let's check. Refresh. Nothing is happening. Actually, I don't want to do like this. I want to, let's check it once again, and I don't want to use the body here. I just need to cut it from here, and let's say I want to add a div here. Okay, and I want to actually set the class for the div, and I want to cut the form from here, and I want to set it inside the div. Okay, that's it. And now I'll say that I want to set star. I mean, for the whole body, I want to say that margin 0 and padding 0. But for the class, I mean, for the div register, I want to say that I want a fixed width of, let's say, 500 pixel, or let's say 200. Okay, and if I go to here, and let's say I want to show them in the middle. Okay, middle of the page. So I can set here padding left, let's say 200 pixel, and let me just set here a background color. It's a gray or green. And if I refresh, nothing is happening. Why? Actually, I want to change the register input. Let's say I want to say that width 100%, and I want to add padding of 30 pixel. Let's say nothing is changing here. Why? So I want to give here a class, and I want to access it here, and I want to say padding. Refresh. See, there is nothing changed. So I hope something is going wrong here. And I don't know why. If I go to the heading.php, here you can see we have the title, but let's say I want to style, styles, styles.css, styles. Okay, so silly mistake here, just single. Okay, single s we just forgot to give here. So this is the mistake here, and now I hope it will work. And let me go to the register, and here if I go to the style.css, and here actually let's go here and refresh. Now you can see everything is changing. Okay, so I want to actually remove it. I want to set here, let me just remove it. Okay, and I want to say here that I want to remove the class from this email. We have css here. Let me save it and refresh. What is happening here with padding? Actually, I want to refresh. So now you can see that we are in a div, and our div color is green, but I actually want to show this div in the inside of the page, I mean in the middle of the page. So I will say here, I can set here display flex, and I can say here justify content center, align item center. Refresh. Okay, so all the items in the center, right? But we have space in the left side, so we can set okay, no problem. Actually, I want to remove the background color. I want padding, sorry, margin left, margin top. Okay, margin top, let's say 200 pixel. Refresh. Okay, so now we are in the middle of the page. And one more thing I can say here, like want to set, I want to go to the register, and I want to set BR in after every single input actually. So I will say here input, and here also, and here also. So I want to add a BR and break so that it goes to the new line. Okay, now it's actually working. Now, so if I go here, you can see if I go to the style.css, we have margin top of 200 pixel, right? Okay, everything is all right here, and I want some padding. So I'll go here and I will say that dot register and input. I want to add padding of, let's say, 20 pixel. Refresh. Okay, and I want to add margin also. I mean, for the outside gap, okay, margin, let's say 5 pixel. I mean, for the outside of this input, okay, input fields. Here you can see we have got you know some space, and let's say want to say that, okay, these are I want to add placeholder. So I can say here, okay, I can do registration, I can do css for the button also. So I will say here registered button, and same thing. Okay, refresh, sign up. So one the full width, I will say here width 100%. Refresh. Okay, now actually sign up works properly, right? Okay, and I want border, so I will say border radius will be 2 pixel. Solid. Border radius will be 2 pixel. Okay, refresh. Okay, so the border radius is now 2 pixel, and you see, and if hover on it, it's changing the color, right? Okay, and here I want to add placeholder, so I will go to the register PHP, and here I want to set placeholder. I will say here placeholder, enter your name. Let me say here placeholder, enter your email. I want to set here placeholder, enter your password, and everything is done. If I refresh now, you can see there is a placeholder. So it's now looking good, right? And let's say I actually want to show the let's say the dot, okay, dot line, and I don't want the whole border. So I will say go here, and for the input field, actually I don't need any borders. I will say uh, border none. I don't need any border. So refresh, there is no border, but I want border bottom. So I will say border bottom. I can say here 2 pixel solid blue. We have sign up. So let me just change the color for the sign up button. So I will say here background color, background color. I need actually green. I can say here light green, let's say light, light green, or sky blue, let's say. Fresh. Okay. Now we can actually sign up. So this is our registration page. Now actually it's look, I think, far better than previous, right? So we will do validation, okay, but not in this video, actually in our next video. So in this video actually we will show three file, as I mean for the registration, for the login, and for the logout. So let me just say here that I actually want to do the css for registration php comma login dot php comma logout. So actually logout page actually cannot be accessed. So yeah, both page. So I will copy from here, and I will go to the login dot php, and here actually I want to paste it. That's it. And now in the login page actually I need two field. One for the username, I mean email, okay, in this case, and the second one is for the password. And submit button, okay, everything will be same. And now the action will be changed here, because we are actually uh, now we'll check that login.php, because we want to actually redirect to the same page for the login purpose. And now actually we will add here PHP script. We just have to give here a question mark, dollar underscore server variable request method, request request underscore method post. Then actually you have to say that, okay, now actually I want to store the values. So I will say here dollar email, right? Email and password. So I will say here dollar email equal to dollar underscore post. And let me just copy it once again. And here I just want to say that password password. Now actually we have to include the db.php file, right? So we just have to say here, sorry, in clut include. We just have to say here db.php. We just want to actually start the session because now actually we need to, store the user ID. Let's say, to track the user, right? So we will use here session. So I will say here dollar underscore, it will be like session start because I have to start the session. So like this, now we have to, keep session variable here. So I will say here dollar session, SESS7 session, the variable name. Let's say, actually, we don't know the user, right? Still. So we just have to say here the SQL first. So I will say SQL, the query. And here actually I want to select star from the users where email is equal to, the email is equal to dollar email. Dollar. If I go to the browser, you can see our column name is email also. Result, because I want to execute the query and I want to set the result in the result variable. So I'll say here mysql I query, and here I want to pass two variables. So one for the connection and another one is for the SQL in our query. So now I will say if dollar result, I will say here number of rows is greater than 0. If the value is exist in the table, we will say that, we will do something, okay? And otherwise actually we will say that, oh, so here you can see we have select stuff. We have fetch all the data from the users table, and where we have said that where the email is like this. And now actually we will check the if the result, a number of rows is greater than 0. If their result, if there any result exists actually, so we'll actually enter here. Otherwise we will say that the error. So we'll say echo the error. So the error is, I want to actually say here dollar result error. Okay. And now actually we have to check the password also, right? Let's say somebody actually give us the email, right email, but did mistake on the password. So we should check it also, right? So we'll say here if dollar, let's say I want to set a variable. Okay. I want to actually set here a variable. সারাদিন কাম দাস নাই, আমি কাম করতে গেছি মনে বুঝবো না, মিলন না এলে ভালো হইবো। So now actually I want to set here variables dollar row, and I want to fetch all the data. So I will say here uh, mysql I fetch as associative array. So fetch assoc. So this is the function, and I want to pass the parameter result. Okay. So now actually the result will be stored in the row table. So I will say here if dollar row, and I want to know the password also. If dollar row password, if dollar row password is equal to same as the password, I mean field password, then actually we will let him enter. Otherwise, we will say that your password is wrong. Wrong credential. Okay. So password, and Okay, we will say that, okay, if the password is like password, we will say, okay, you can log in. Otherwise, we will say that else, we will say that echo. Uh, we can actually, redirect to the header login page, right? So we'll say header function here, header. And here, actually, I want to say location. And actually, I want to say here, location should be login.php. So this is the thing. And now our code is now actually perfect. So, and now let's say I want to, let's say our password is right also. So I will, enter this clause. I need to set here session variable. So I will say here session. The session variable name is, let's say, user. I actually want to say user ID here, user ID, let's say, and I want to set it, let's say, dollar row ID, right? Okay, ID. And I want to set the role also. So I will say here the role. And here I want to actually say that dollar underscore session. I will say here role. Okay. And set the role as dollar row. Okay. So we have session row ID. Okay. Session role. We have session user ID. We have a session role. So now actually we actually say it, and now you can actually redirect anywhere. So let's say I will actually go to, let's say, dashboard for now only. Okay, when we will actually work for the dashboard, so we will actually create different dashboard for the admin. But right now actually we will go to the dashboard.php, let's say. Okay, so I will say here header function, and actually I want to say here okay, header location should be, I will say dashboard.php. That's it. And I want to set here exit, so that it just exit the current script. That's it. Okay, so that's it. And now actually I want to go to the dashboard, and here you can see I have include the db.php. So okay, now actually I want to for now actually I want to say here, okay, welcome to dashboard. That's it. And now let's go to the browser. And so this is the library, I mean register.php. So I will go to the index, and I will go to the login.php. Okay, so I'll go here login.php. So this is our login page, and here let's say I want to insert the email. So the user email is, let's say, milon@gmail.com. So I will say here milon@gmail.com, because this is the unique one. So let's say I want to give the wrong password 456. If I log in, then you can see I'm redirecting to the login page. But let's say I will give here milon@gmail.com, and I want to set here password, let's say 123. I mean the correct password. Here you can see 123. Now I will log in, and here you can see I am now in the dashboard. So it is actually working, right? And now let's say we will go for the logout.php. So I want to actually, let's say in the dashboard, actually I want to uh, add a link. So I will say here, uh, actually want to echo a link. So I'll say echo, or maybe I can okay, let me remove it. And actually I want to say here HTML, let's say, and I want to add anchor link here. So I will say anchor link. Okay, I'll say here href. I'll say, okay, the href would be logout.php. Okay, and here actually I will say log out. Here you can see that we have logout.php. Now actually let me check if it is working perfect or not. So if I refresh here, you can see we have logout. So if I click on logout, then you can see we are in the logout.php. But actually, what I mean, whom actually we want to log out. So we have to, pass the, user ID with the URL, right? I mean, to the next page. So now in the current page, we have dashboard.php. If I click on logout, we are in the logout.php. So we need the ID in the logout.php. So we have to pass through URL, right? So now let's go here and in the login.php, I mean in the dashboard, right? So we just have to, we need to know the user ID, right? So here actually I want to uh, include the session. So I will say here session start, and I will check if is set dollar underscore session ID. Though session variable name for the ID is user ID, right? So let me just copy it from here and I will go here and I will paste it here. I said that if is set session ID, right? I mean, if session ID is set, then actually we will enter here. Else, I mean, if not set, then we will actually say that, uh, I want to actually redirect to the login page. You have to log in first, okay? So I will say here header, I will say location login dot php exit. I want to exit the script here. And let's say somebody actually logged in. So what will happen? So that time actually we will store the user ID. So I will say here dollar ID. Let's say dollar user ID. Okay. I will say here dollar underscore session user ID. Now actually I want to pass this user ID. Okay. Uh, with this logout PHP. So here I want to say that uh, like this. Okay. I want to set a question mark here and I want to pass the variable user ID. Okay, just I have to say here that user ID and then the user ID. Okay, let's see. So now let's check if it is working perfectly and refresh. If I click on logout, there is actually nothing pass. So I hope I should use here single quotation or the problem is actually here I just have to use PHP script. Okay, so I have to say here PHP and like this. Okay, so here you can see we have logout button now, and if I click, still there is no value. But okay, let me. Okay, so I just need to echo here, right? Because without echo it, actually we cannot show the value, right? So let me just leave it here. So now go back, refresh, logout. Now you can see our user is 2. Here now in the logout we have to actually accept the value. So you just have to write here PHP script and we just have to start the session here. So I will say session start and I will say if is set session dollar underscore session variable and the session variable is user ID. I've said here that if is set user ID, then actually we'll store it in a variable. So I will say here uh, dollar. Should I use it? Okay, I can actually dash a session here, right? So I will say session dash. That's it. So now let's check the logout button is working perfectly or not. And here I will refresh, and if I log out, So actually we don't need to check it. We just need to, destroy here session, right? That's it.